Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel, coming at you live from the UK. We're 3 crumpets down with Marmite this morning. It was delicious. I've already been for a nice walk around the streets of Pimlico. We're back for a couple of weeks, guys. So if you're excited for the match vlogs, hit the like button. And today, unfortunately, I wanted to come back to England, southwest London. I wanted there to be a big buzz around the room. But having seen Nottingham Forest deducted 4 points, which is massive, catastrophic potentially, in their race for Premier League survival. You look at the news about Chelsea, and there's a lot of people in the financial football side of the world right now saying that Chelsea are in serious trouble. I want to dissect this a little bit today, give my opinions, and I also want to react to the fact that this isn't just an issue that Chelsea are going to have to deal with now. The sanctions that we might be about to receive as a result of breaching FFP rules because we spent too much money, and there is currently the need, potentially, to sell £100 million worth of players before the end of June. There are individual issues that come up as a result of that deadline. And there is also, because it's not just the last 12 months that we've been spending so much money, it's been a couple of years now. And all of the football financial books are backdated, and then all of the results in terms of like whether or not you have complied with FFP or not complied with FFP comes at the end of certain periods of time. So this isn't just an issue this summer where Chelsea might get points deductions, fines, and heaven forbid the points deductions could be significantly worse than the 6 that Everton got, the 4 that Forest got. If Chelsea get a 6-point or a 4-point deduction right now, we're not that bothered because we're already in the mid-table and it doesn't put us in the relegation zone. And I think with Chelsea, the fact that we have spent so much money and so heavily relied on, as a result of that money, well, we've spent that much, so because we've spent loads of money on good players, we should get European football. That's where the issue is coming. The money that Chelsea have coming in is absolutely not comparable to the the big sums of money that we have spent going out. And as a result of that, the point deduction that Chelsea could get could be massive. And even if we get away with it, you best believe that the microscope, the Premier League microscope right now, is going to be looking at Chelsea massively. The pressure that will come from clubs like Nottingham Forest to believe that they have done the best that they can to work within these financial realms that need to be hit. Everton the same. They believe right now, if you look at the statements coming out of Forest, that their cooperation during all of these look and deep dives into their finances should be enough to hopefully let them get away with certain things. Look, at the end of the day, you can't go out on the street and murder someone, but because you hand yourself in, the punishment, well, maybe it works like that. I don't know how the punishment system works within jurisdiction, but like, you still killed someone. Do you know what I mean? This isn't the same level, but if you break the financial rules, there's only so much cooperation before you still got to take the slap on the wrist. Do you know what I mean? And in Chelsea's case here, there would be a lot of answers that would be found if we would be getting Champions League football. Immediately a significant amount of money coming in, which means the pressure on 100 million of sales is less. There's also, you win the FA Cup. You got to get past City and Man United. This isn't like, well, at least we're going to do that. No, we're not there yet. We've got 2 massive matches, a semi and a final ahead of us. Then we qualify for the Europa League. But even the Europa League is no way near the same financial incomings as you get if you're in the Champions League. So we've massively shot ourselves in the foot here over the course of the past couple of years. The issue that I have right now as a Chelsea fan is that I think the recruitment that we have had and the dominant focus on, right, it's going to be a load of young players, we'll build a squad, a 100-point squad for the future, it's not worked, okay? There's a lot of good quality players that we have brought in within this age bracket that we have so heavily focused our transfer activities on. But the problem is, at the moment, you're seeing Chelsea being linked with flipping Murillo from Nottingham Forest. We're being linked with a 20-year-old from Bournemouth who's currently a fullback. Like, is buying another 20-year-old from Bournemouth because he's got potential going to help Chelsea to dig ourselves out of the financial grave that we have self-dug, sat in, led in, swallowed a load of soil? At this point in time, You need to buy quality if you're going to buy quality in order to lift ourselves up the table. Because there's only so far that potential can take you. Yes, we're starting to see the fruits of the Jackson signing, the Mudryk signing, the Gusto signing. We're seeing these guys come good now. I'm not saying that we should never buy an under-23 again. I'm just saying that maybe only buying under-23s is part of the issue here. Because that doesn't get you a consistent winning Champions League squad. We sold a Champions League winning squad, by the way. So the issue for Chelsea is the longer we keep going through these periods of mid-table mediocrity, we don't get the money coming in from the revenues that come as a result of qualifying for those big competitions. But also, these FFP clouds that are currently circling, and they're like vultures ready to come down and swoop in and attack us right now, this is not going to be the kind of stories that get your top players like your Victor Osimhen's, your top-class £100 million players won't be looking at Chelsea anymore and seeing like this bright, exciting project, because the project hasn't really gone anywhere in 2 years. We're also not in European football, so that makes it even more difficult to attract those players. And the potential that Chelsea go down the Everton, Forest path of point deductions and, heaven forbid, if it's really that bad, relegations? Like, I don't think it's going to be that excessive. But the crisis that people are talking about that Chelsea might be about to enter, I think it's more of a crisis in 18 months' time, in 2 years' time, when that cloud gets darker, when the rain over the club gets heavier and buries us deeper in the ground, the ability to attract those top players becomes more difficult. You've also got the immediate issue right now, which is that who is going to want to buy Chelsea players at top prices when they know that Chelsea are selling as quickly as we can just to simply get past FFP? If I was a club this summer and I'm looking at Conor Gallagher, who, as much as I don't think Conor Gallagher should be sold, the more that you read into these potential financial issues, you understand why Chelsea are so adamant that he's going to be sold. But you're going to wait. You'll wait until after these financial deadlines and then you'll try and buy him then. No one's going to help Chelsea out. Clubs have been so pissed off looking over the years at Chelsea spending £1 billion here, Abramovich's money in 2003. We've been the envy of everybody. And it's only now that we have been mismanaged so heavily that we are going to see the club punished for wrongdoing. And that is the biggest concern. It is the lasting effects that come beyond what might come Chelsea's way. I will also say, though, the Man City story. I see a lot of Chelsea fans, when they're talking about FFP, we go in there and we're like, well, why don't we just get rid of the Man City problem first? 115 charges. Spend the time, Premier League, looking at all of those and coming to a conclusion there. 115 charges is massive. Man City, I believe one day, as a result of all of those charges, the easier it is to punish an Everton and a Forest, I don't think City can get away with 115. So it might take 3 years, 4 years, but I definitely think there is a comeuppance coming the way of Manchester City soon. And I think it will see them suffer for maybe a long, sustained period of time. I think when that doomsday comes for City, Guardiola will be like, look, sorry guys, I've enjoyed the trophies, but you broke, all right, cool, I'm out the door. They're then going to have to deal with the potential sanctions, point deductions, whatever it may be, transfer bans, and no Guardiola. So City will get their comeuppance eventually. They will. As for Chelsea, it's not just this financial year that we're going to be looking at. We've been spending like idiots now for so long. And as much as I sit here on the channel and get excited, it's because, well, yeah, these players are going to come and play for Chelsea. Like, we're still waiting for Enzo to be a £100 million player. We're still waiting for Caicedo to be a £100 million player. Good players, I like them both. But, like, we're still waiting to see that kind of value, the ROI. That kind of value is getting Chelsea to the Champions League. Until we see that, we've got to look at these investments and be like, shit, this is getting us in trouble more so than it's getting us results on the field. That is the harsh reality of the situation right now for Chelsea Football Club. As I've said before, I've talked about this in the past. There's a lot of people that know certain things inside the club who are saying we're absolutely fine. There's also a lot of financial experts out there that will capitalise on Forest getting a point deduction by getting clicks by saying that Chelsea's will be worse. We're a clickable club, guys. Chelsea are in the headlines all the time. You might think, mid-table. Yeah, but we're still a big club. We still are the only team in London with a European Cup. We are the talk of the bloody town, and we'll continue to be. That's the reality. And as fans, at this point, we just got to see how this one plays out. But I will say this. If it really is serious, I don't think we're going to be having the craziest summer. And maybe, just maybe at this point, that could be what this team needs. There is a slight upward trajectory. We're getting the most now out of existing players that we've already signed. So a bit of faith is what I'm going to go for. A bit of backing on some of the guys that I maybe wrote off a little bit. Your Mudricks, your Jacksons. I'll swallow the humble pie. I'll back these guys because at this point, we're not going to be selling them to make the profits that we need to comply. It's going to be your Gallaghers, maybe your Reece Jameses that we sell in order to comply for FFP. Not the players that I want sold, absolutely not. But let's see where this goes for Chelsea. We could be in crisis, but I think it's one of them where we also might just get out of it. We came up with loopholes before when we were amortising 8-year deals for players. Maybe we find another way. Let's wait and see. Come on, you Blues.